Imagine a world where power can vanish in an instant, where alliances crumble like brittle glass under the weight of greed, and where a single plea can ignite the most shocking chain of events. Cammy Miller, once untouchable, now finds herself on her knees, staring at the man she has fought, manipulated, and defied for years, Tommy Norris. But this isn't just a moment of weakness, it's a moment that could change everything, rewriting the rules of power, revenge, and survival in Landman Season 3. As the dust settles over West Texas, one question lingers. Is Cammy truly broken, or is this the opening move in her deadliest game yet? The unforgiving sun beats down on the endless plains of West Texas, painting everything in harsh golds and deep shadows. The air shimmers above the dusty ground, carrying the faint hum of oil rigs that rise like monoliths over the horizon. These mechanical giants pump relentlessly, each drop of black gold a testament to human ambition and the ruthless cost that comes with it. Cammy Miller, once a titan in the world of oil and power, now walks through this sun-scorched land like a ghost of her former self. Her tailored suits replaced by dust-streaked attire, her eyes carrying the weight of shattered alliances and lost empires. Every step she takes is measured, careful, as though the very ground beneath her could betray her at any moment. She stops at the edge of a familiar property, one tied to years of negotiation, betrayal, and blood. The wind whispers across the plains, carrying rumors of fortunes lost, secrets buried, and deals that turn deadly. Her mind races, replaying the chain of decisions that led her here. Reckless expansions, risky gambles, betrayals she thought she had controlled, and enemies she underestimated. The empire Monty left her, once her crown, now feels like sand slipping through her fingers, every grain a memory of power she can no longer hold. The weight of failure presses on her chest, the kind that leaves no room for pride, only the desperate recognition of vulnerability. Tommy Norris stands in her path, the man she is tangled with across boardrooms and oil fields. His presence is quiet but commanding, every line on his weathered face a story of survival, loss, and unspoken judgment. He is not just a man, he is a living monument to the unforgiving land itself, shaped by years of toil, betrayal, and endurance. Cammy's gaze meets his, and in that moment the world seems to pause. There is no noise, just the wind, the distant creak of rig machinery, and the heavy thrum of tension that coils like a snake ready to strike. She does not speak immediately. Instead, her lips part in a silent plea, her eyes wide with a mixture of desperation, fear, and the faintest spark of cunning. The memories crash in like waves against a fragile shore. Every heated confrontation, every deal gone wrong, every alliance betrayed, and every moment she underestimated Tommy comes rushing back. Her voice finally breaks the silence, low and raw. "I have nothing left, Tommy." The words hang heavy, not just a plea for help, but a test, a challenge, a question of loyalty and judgment. Tommy's eyes narrow slightly, reading her, weighing her, but saying nothing. The pause stretches on, the kind of silence that makes your skin crawl, that turns every heartbeat into a countdown. Around them, the land remains indifferent. Dust swirls at their feet, sunlight glints off the metal of the distant rigs, and the horizon stretches endlessly, promising both opportunity and ruin. Cammy's mind races faster than the Texas wind. Is Tommy her salvation, a lifeline in a world where she has burned every bridge? Or is this the trap she has unknowingly stepped into? A moment where the man who knows the dirt, the deals, and the sins of every player in this game finally lets her fall. And then the shadows begin to move. Not just the long, stretched shadows of the setting sun, but the shadows of consequences long in the making. Whispers of the cartel deal Tommy made with Galliano, the cracks forming in still exploration and cattle, and the federal investigations creeping closer. Every choice, every betrayal, every secret now converges in this single moment. Cammy's plea is no longer just a request. It is a spark, a gamble, a test of wills that could ignite the most explosive chain of events in Landman history. As the camera lingers on her eyes, a question claws at the edges of everything we thought we knew about power and desperation. Is Cammy truly broken, or is this carefully staged, a masterstroke in a game only she understands? And if it is a play, then who will fall first, the fallen queen or the man who knows exactly how to let her hit the ground? The plains stretch endlessly, each ridge and dip a silent witness to the battles fought for land, power, and survival. Cammy Miller's desperation hangs in the air like the thick Texas heat, heavy and suffocating. Yet beneath it lies something sharper, a glint of calculation, the possibility that her knees are a stage rather than a surrender. Tommy Norris doesn't move, doesn't speak. His eyes, dark and unreadable, hold the accumulated weight of decades in a world where loyalty is currency and betrayal is inevitable. He has seen empires crumble, seen men and women rise and fall with the ebb of oil prices and the capricious loyalties of partners. And now, facing Cammy, he understands that this is no ordinary plea, it's a test. Cammy's world has been unraveling thread by thread. Every boardroom she once dominated now feels empty, echoing with whispers of those who once bowed to her authority. The sound of paper shuffling, phones ringing unanswered, and investors' footsteps retreating from deals she once commanded now saturates the background of her mind. Embezzlement scandals, failed partnerships, federal investigations, each has left its mark, visible in the lines of stress on her face, the slump of her shoulders, the tremor in her hands. And yet, even in this apparent collapse, there is a method to her desperation, a rhythm that only someone who understands power can detect. Every glance toward Tommy, every subtle shift in posture speaks volumes. She is playing a game whose rules only she fully comprehends. Meanwhile, the air around them pulses with tension, a living, breathing entity that mirrors the storm gathering within both of them. Tommy's mind is already racing. He remembers the history, the betrayals, the moments where Cammy's ambition collided with his ethics and survival instincts. He recalls every favor asked and denied, every alliance that fractured, every time he was cast aside when convenience demanded it. And yet, something about the rawness in her voice, the vulnerability in her eyes, tugs at a part of him he has kept tightly sealed for years. The part that knows the cost of watching someone fall when there might still be a chance to stop it. The plains themselves seem to hold their breath. Dust lifts from the dry earth, curling in faint spirals around the boots of two people whose fates are entwined more tightly than they could ever admit. The distant hum of oil rigs beats like a heart, steady and relentless, underscoring the stakes of the moment. This isn't about money alone, not anymore. It's about pride, legacy, revenge, and the fragile line between salvation and ruin. Each silent second stretches, loaded with implication. One wrong move, one misjudged expression could tip the scales irreversibly. Beyond the immediate confrontation, the shadows of others begin to creep into the frame. Cooper, Tommy's son, watches from the periphery, his youthful energy brimming with both defiance and anxiety. He has already been thrust into this game of survival, navigating the treacherous waters of legacy, ambition, and morality. His father's hesitation, his silent judgment, becomes a crucible in which Cooper's own sense of right and wrong is tested. He has learned that every choice in this world carries weight, that mistakes are punished with merciless precision, and that loyalty can be as deadly as betrayal. His gaze flickers to Cammy, registering the desperation but also sensing the possibility of manipulation, a lesson he has learned in the hard way under his father's tutelage. Galeno, the ever-present shadow in this high-stakes drama, lurks beyond the visible horizon. Even in brief glimpses, his presence is oppressive, a reminder that no move goes unobserved, no betrayal unpunished. Galeno's calm, measured voice lingers in the audio of memory, a chilling echo. One misstep, one misplaced trust, and everything will burn. Cammy might be pleading, but her cries are not heard in isolation. Every word, every hesitation resonates through a network of danger that Tommy must navigate carefully. Inside her, Cammy fights a battle that goes beyond the tangible. The collapse of her empire is mirrored by the internal fractures of identity, pride, and control. Her mind flickers between fear, strategy, and survival instinct. Each memory of past power, each victory and betrayal shapes her next move. The viewer can feel it, the tension of a mind calculating even in despair, of someone who refuses to simply fall without leaving a mark. The trailer teases the duality of her plea. Is it truly genuine desperation, or the seed of her most audacious maneuver yet? Tommy finally shifts, the slightest movement that signals a crack in his stoic exterior. His mind races with possibilities. If he helps Cammy, he risks everything he has built with Cooper and still exploration and cattle. If he refuses, he could be witnessing the final downfall of a woman who once ruled this world, potentially leaving her vengeance as the only path she can take. His silence, a weapon as much as his words ever were, stretches the moment into eternity. Every heartbeat, every gust of wind, every creak of wood underfoot becomes amplified in the charged stillness. And then, just when it seems the moment might break, Cammy's gaze shifts, a flicker of something unspoken passing across her features, a flash of defiance, calculation, or perhaps revenge. The planes themselves seem to recoil, the rigs pumping more insistently, as if the land anticipates the eruption to come. Every viewer is left questioning, is she truly pleading, or is she setting a trap so perfectly crafted that even Tommy, with all his experience, cannot see it coming? As the section closes, one thought lingers like smoke over the horizon. In this world of oil, money, and blood, is there any such thing as mercy, or does survival demand that every weakness be exploited? The wind blows harder now, carrying fine dust that clings to every surface, smudging reality with the weight of uncertainty. Cammy's knees scrape the dirt, each movement deliberate, as if the ground itself might betray her. Yet her eyes never leave Tommy, never lose focus. There's a duality in her expression, desperation mingled with cunning, vulnerability shadowed by strategy. She is acutely aware of every detail, the subtle tightening of Tommy's jaw, the way his eyes darken under the brim of his hat, the quiet tension in his shoulders that belies the storm of thought beneath. This is not a simple plea. Every gesture, every word is calculated to measure, manipulate, and sway a man who has outlasted empires, disasters, and betrayals. Tommy stands firm, the years etched into his frame like rings in old oak. He has endured more than most could imagine, yet this moment carries a weight that feels unprecedented. Cammy's fall isn't just her own. It threatens to drag the past, the people she's entangled, and even Tommy's fragile new beginnings into ruin. The still exploration and cattle operation, his small, carefully cultivated domain, is vulnerable to the ripple effects of her desperation. The cartel threat from Galeno looms like a shadowed specter over every decision. Tommy understands that to help Cammy is to risk every ounce of the life he's painstakingly rebuilt with Cooper and his father TL. To refuse her is to watch a woman who once wielded power like a weapon crumble, and perhaps turn that desperation into vengeance. Cooper's presence, though mostly hidden, is palpable. His restless energy contrasts sharply with Tommy's stoicism. He has grown quickly in a world that rewards cunning, punishes missteps, and never forgives weakness. His young face reflects a simmering tension, loyalty to his father, curiosity about Cammy, and a desire to assert himself in a game where every choice carries the weights of life and death. He knows the stakes. He knows the dangerous dance of power Cammy has mastered, and he watches closely, trying to discern the subtle signals of strategy beneath the raw emotion. Every twitch of her eye, every falter in her voice is analyzed, logged, and weighed against the possible consequences. Cammy's mind flickers between her past victories and present ruin. Memories of boardroom battles flash, Deals sealed with a handshake, alliances forged in smoke-filled rooms, betrayals hidden beneath polite smiles. Every success now feels like a fragile monument to hubris, ready to crumble under the first hint of resistance. Her empire is not just threatened, it is in freefall. Investors pulling out, alliances shifting, federal investigations tightening like a noose, and whispers of fraud spreading through the corporate corridors. All these forces converge in the moment she kneels before Tommy. Yet even as the collapse threatens, there is a spark in her, a glint of something sharper than defeat. The viewer senses it, a hidden plan, a move that may change everything, lurking beneath the surface of apparent submission. The silence between them stretches unbearably, broken only by the faint mechanical hum of distant rigs. Each pulse of sound mirrors the tension in the scene, a reminder that every decision has consequences. Tommy's mind races, weighing the possibilities. If he acts, he risks undoing the fragile equilibrium of his new life, exposing Cooper and TL to dangers they are